What would London's tube look like if it were designed in 2026 by a real-life city planner from the US? Hi, my name is Philip. I'm a real-life planner with over a decade of experience, most of which was focused on transportation planning. And today, I'll be using Subway Builder to redesign London's transit system from the ground up. The catch? Well, I really don't know all that much about London and I've never visited. I'll be relying on my professional experience and training working in cities like Denver, Seattle, and Madison on transportation planning projects. And by the end, we'll see how my subway system stacks up in comparison to the real-life tube. But before we jump in, it's the start of the year. And for most of us, that means a resolution to get healthy by working out and eating better. In fact, according to this survey from Pew, nearly 80% of adults in the US make the exact same goal. And I'll admit it, I'm one of those adults, and for years I've failed at it. But last year was different. I got intentional, and over the course of the year, I actually lost more than 50 pounds. And a huge part of that was thanks to today's video sponsor, Factor. Factor makes balanced, intentional eating sustainable. I'm a huge fan of their Calorie Smart plan. Every meal is 550 calories or less, leaving me feeling full without that overstuffed feeling. These are fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals that are ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess, and no dishes. And with over 100 rotating weekly options, including add-ons like breakfast and smoothies, Factor literally makes it easier to eat well than to grab junk food. So kick your new year off right. Head to factor75.com or click on the link below and use code CityPlannerPlays-FB50 to get 50% off plus free breakfast for a year. Factor's been an absolute game changer for me, so let it be a game changer for you too. Huge thank you to Factor for sponsoring another video. Now let's get back to it. Now, if you've never played Subway Builder, you're probably looking at this thinking, this looks just like Google Maps, and that's because it basically is. Subway Builder uses real spatial and demographic information as the underlying information in the game. That means that you have to create a realistic subway system if you want it to be effective. Really, it's simple. You want to connect origins to destinations, origins being where people live, to the destinations that they want to go to. Those are generally workplaces, shopping, major transportation hubs, and entertainment. Now, in this game, it's really simplified. If we click on this third button right here, and we go to demand stats, we see residents, that's the origins, and workers, that's the destinations. And honestly, in most cases, schools, shopping centers, those are going to be major employment hubs, so that'll work as a good proxy. Now, as I look at this, workers are really concentrated to this area right here, the central business district. I believe that this is Heathrow right here, major employment hub over there as well. And for residents, surprisingly evenly distributed. And what that means to me is that we probably want to have a transit system that's hub and spoke, where we have a whole bunch of lines that feed into the central business district, kind of like a bike tire. And when I think about a good location to begin, I want to think about where we wouldn't have to use a bunch of eminent domain. And that's because in this game, we actually have to use it and it's very expensive. And I'm noticing that it looks like there are these black rivers. And my guess is these are existing transportation corridors or places where we already have rail. So we've got one right here, one right here. Looks like there's one right here. Now, I don't want to necessarily just recreate what already is existing there. So I think I'm going to try to build upon this. Let's turn on our workplaces and pin this. So I can pin this to the map and then draw my blueprints right on top. Before I do that though, I want to establish the type of system that I'm going to build because I can build either heavy metro or light metro. And this choice is really important. For heavy metro, you're looking at a train capacity of about 1,200 to 2,400 per train. You go over to light metro, it's only 400 to 800. However, you can deploy these much easier. The base track cost is only 30,000 pounds. If we go over to heavy metro, we're looking at 50,000. So this is dramatically more expensive in the short term. Over the long term, if you have capacity needs, your operational costs will be a lot less. And I think I'm going to start out with a line that I know is going to be a home run. We're going to go and start right here. We've got this gigantic circle. And if we click in here, it's 77,000 workers. This space right here looks like an excellent location for a central station, so that's what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna go with a quad station to begin. Now, the whole reason that I'm dropping it down 10 meters is I wanna be able to go underneath this building and turn it over here. And now I'm gonna bump this up to -5 meters and angle off in this direction. If we click cost right here, we can see the total cost of what we've done so far. It's about $250 million. Considering we have 3 billion, that's a considerable cost. Now, I want to figure out where we're going to go with this. And we've got a couple of these major employment hubs. I figure ending at one of these probably makes sense. This one looks fairly considerable out here. we have 17, almost 18,000 workers out here. So with that in mind, I'm gonna end right here with a heavy metro station, and I'll make this an at-grade station because that will dramatically reduce the cost of it. Before I move on from here, I want to add a crossover. Crossovers allow you to turn around a train. If you don't have it, you won't be able to complete a line. I'm going to add a couple of markers for myself so that I remember where this line's going to go. I'm going to draw all of the segments underneath roads. That's basically everything, and we can see the entire route. And it's important to remember, people can walk a decent distance, so we don't need to provide stations right next to each other, but the higher density, the more stations that you probably want to have. So right here, we are going to have a fairly decent station density because we've got a lot of workers and a lot of residences. So I'm going to add a station probably right about here. For this one, I'm gonna try. Sometimes you can make a nice connection just by linking these. Oftentimes though, you'll end up going through buildings, which is less than ideal. So we'll just make small segments. I'm gonna add a station right here. The funny thing is, I bet you that this is a platform, so I'm not too far away from a real life platform. And the irony is I'm going to need to use eminent domain on the platform. Ooh, that is very expensive. That is $18 million. We're going to avoid that. That's much better. We'll add one right here and another one right here. This looks like it's supposed to branch off, so maybe in the future this is a transfer opportunity. We'll add another one right here to serve this neighborhood and then get all of these linked up. Most of these are at grade, which means that our costs are not completely out of this world, but we still used about a third of our funding. So that's something to keep in mind. We've still got a decent chunk of this to fill in as well. Then I'll drop down to negative 10 meters right here so I can go underneath this building and then immediately shoot back up to -4 and then -2. And the main reason I'm doing that is because cut and cover is way cheaper than boring. Cut and cover means that you dig a trench, build your infrastructure, and then bury it. Boring would actually be getting a boring machine and boring underneath the facility. It's just way more expensive. And obviously at grade is just building a track above ground. That's gonna be the cheapest of all. Home stretch and the density really starts to fall off. So I think I'll add 2 more stations. Okay, this is now complete, but before we finalize things and build it, I want to check out the cost. $1.35 billion. It's a lot of money, but it's going to make it back. I also want to make sure we have all of our crossovers. I think I'm missing one right here, so I'll add this. So now let's build our blueprints, which commits us to this track. And now we need to create a route. I'll make this the A route. We'll make it red. And we have to make sure we have the right train type, heavy metro. So now I'll select this route. We'll need to edit the route. We'll select our starting point. I like to go to the very end. And you can see that this would be completely functional. So all we have to do now is go up and down and add the stations to the route. And it will dynamically update this in the correct order, so you don't need to worry about ordering at all. It's one of the really great features of the game. Now we have to assign trains to this, and there's a couple of things to think about here. Trains cost about £250,000 per hour, so we don't want to over-assign trains. We want to look at each of our different time periods that we operate in. The high demand period, that's when people are going to work. The medium demand period, which would be the midday periods, and then the low demand periods, which would be the overnight periods. We want to assign the correct number of trains for each of those periods. So during the high demand period, which we can see that we would currently with one train have 47-minute frequencies. That is really bad. Let's increase this. During the peak period when people are going to work, they expect a train to be there relatively quickly. So right now I'm saying every 16 minutes there'd be a train. I would really like to go even faster. 12 starts to get to the time frame where you don't need to think about it. If you go to 5 and we get 9-minute headways, you don't have to think about it at all. You just show up to the train station and you know that it's going to be there in short order. But to get to that, we would need to have 50 train cars. That's really too much right now. So we're going to go with 3. During the medium demand period, the midday period, we'll go with 2. And during the low demand period, we'll go with 1. So I like to click into the station ridership information, 3rd button right here, station ridership, and then I'm just going to speed things along for 1 day. Now our first full day is in the books, so I want to take a look at our budget to see how we've done. To do that, I'm just going to click on our finances down here and we'll pull up our financial dashboard. Now, one of the new things in the game is we can now take out bonds, which is really exciting. That means that if you want to build out infrastructure quickly and you think you can make it profitable, you could take out a loan to build that infrastructure. And then if we scroll to the bottom, we can see our operational profit. And the really exciting thing here is that we can see that there are just 5 hours, 6 hours during the day where we were not turning a profit. And those hours were not all that bad. So with that in mind, we're going to build our second line after we adjust our transit cost, because I think that our line could be a little bit more expensive. Right now we're charging £3. So let's go to £3.75. If you're going from way out here and riding all the way to down here, I think £3.80 is totally reasonable. Now I want to start thinking about our second route. And for this one, I really want to focus on the airport. And the main reason for that is the number of jobs that we have here. There are actually 5 of these big circles that are showing these are major employment areas. So we're looking at 160,000 jobs just with these dots right here at the airport, not to mention all of the other large major employment hubs in between. We've also got a lot of residents right here in between. So this is going to be a very important line. But this one's even longer than this line, and that makes me think that we might want to go with light rail, which I'm not super excited about. We're going to have a lot of capacity needs right here, but I'm hoping that we can get away with one. And I'll build this off on the side, and then I need to figure out how we're going to leave this area. I'm thinking that we're likely going to do cut and fill right here down this road. It's going to be fairly slow. Maybe we could turn and have a station right here. I actually like that idea. So I'll add another station right here and another one right here. Before I move on, I'm going to add the crossover and then try to navigate through this area with really small segments. This right here, if I'm not mistaken, is Buckingham Palace. So we definitely are not going to tunnel underneath that, but I think we could probably stop nearby. So we'll have one station right here, another right here, and then I need to figure out how we're getting to the airport. I think we're going to drop down here, go along the river, and then it seems like this is a rail corridor. I might try to duck back up. Just looking at a residential demand, lots of residents over here. So we'll add that station right here. I'll add another one right here and another one right here. And now I want to take a beat on station building to figure out how we actually get to the airport. And my goodness, we've got a decent little length to cover. That said, we've got some pretty straight arterials. You know, I'll actually elevate this. That will solve all of my problems. I'll just go above this road right here. And once we do that, this actually gets fairly simple. I'm just trying to have consistent spacing here so that I think people could walk to either of the tracks, or either of the stations rather. And then as we get further away, the distance between our stations will grow because the density goes way, way down. And then here at Heathrow, we're going to switch back over to workers and build single track stations. So I'm going to have to be really deliberate with the directionality of these. And I think I'm going to go just kind of in the middle of the airport and just do a loop. Now looking at our costs, we're already up to half of our money. So we're going to have to be really careful with this. And I think I'll begin right here and try to link up all of these single tracks. And as much as I wanted to have this station right here, I think I'm going to say no to it. I just think it's a little bit too far away and I'm trying to do a bit too much. Instead, we'll do this and people will have to walk. And then I go from elevated to underground right here. So in that little short segment. But apparently my grades are okay, so I'm not going to worry about it all that much. Now we'll go into the single track segment and link up. Easily right there and easily right here. This one shouldn't be all that difficult at all. Perfect. And we've got good speeds around there. So that's probably the most difficult part. Now we have all these little segments to link up. So I'm just going to kind of carefully and methodically get everything linked together. It's all above ground, so it should be pretty simple. And as I look at this, I think I'm going to add one more stop right about here because we're already going to have a fairly slow turn. So since the track is already slowing down, we might as well serve this area. A lot of residents, a lot of workers. This will do quite well. And this corner is really precarious. It's the best that I could do. It's really kind of a hairpin turn. Thankfully, we are in between stations, so that little short segment isn't the end of the world. Now we are getting close to being able to link these up though, and I think that we could have one more station right here. The density in this area is very, very high. And then I'll try to find a path through here. Honestly, this seems like it is currently a river crossing. That's not the way that I'm using it. I am curious, this building right here, how much would this cost? $3 million, that might just be the cost of doing business. And then we're gonna redo this station. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know the political realities of anything that I just did. This looks like a fairly big park space. This might be a really important building. But from a transportation standpoint, I think being able to serve this area is very valuable. So we're gonna do it. So now we need to find a way up here near Buckingham Palace. I think I'm gonna try to turn right here. We'll add our station right here instead. Have a gentle curve right here. No eminent domain necessary. That is really nice. We're going to have an incredibly expensive segment right here. It looks like there is some sort of a structure that we need to get underneath, and it is $23 million. So I'm going to drop down 10 meters, go underneath this thing, and honestly, I'm going to go even harder. I'm going to drop this whole station down. This is going to be incredibly expensive, but it's going to allow me to increase the speed right here. And that's perfect, but for one thing, insufficient funds. So we got two options here. I could be patient and just wait a day, and then we should have enough funding, or I could take out a bond. I think I want to verify that I would have enough money within a day. It looks like yesterday we made about $20 million. I think I'm just going to be patient. We'll let a day pass, and then we will build out this gigantic new track. And my goodness, I realized my math is not mathing. We're actually about 100 million shy. So I'm going to issue a bond so that we can build this thing that'll give us $100 million. Now, as we look at this, let's slow things down. We still have insufficient funds, but we are much closer. Now we are about a day away. Now, at this point, we have enough money to build this. So I'm going to slow things down and build the blueprints. That leaves us with $2 million in the bank. And because of that, I'm going to pause it. I think we're going to need to buy light rail vehicles. We're really teetering on the brink, but we're going to roll the dice anyway. So let's build our new route. We'll make this route B. It'll be blue, and it'll be a light metro vehicle. So let's edit the route. And I think for this one, I'm just going to add one right here, and right here, and right here. And it completed the loop. And that gives me the confidence to add every other stop to the route. Now, we are going to need to purchase some light rail vehicles for this, and we're likely going to need more than with our last train because of how long this is. So I'm going to begin with 6 because I don't really have all that much money. I can't even buy that, honestly. We're going to need to let things run and hope that we get some more money. After waiting through the day, I was able to get enough money to buy 4 cars, which is enough to run 1 train. This is a really poor frequency though. We're at 88 minutes. We're gonna run it all throughout the day and hopefully it makes its money back and we'll resume things. Now, the first thing that we're gonna notice, we're gonna get lots and lots of warnings about this because the demand is gonna be there to have more trains. 88-minute frequency means that it's basically a slow bus at this point. And because we only have 800 capacity on this vehicle, because we don't have more cars, we don't have enough capacity for everyone who wants to use this route. We'll improve that tomorrow. We're gonna buy way more train sets, but this is a beginning. And the funny thing is, I don't even think that we have to wait because now we're making money during time frames where we just weren't making money before. And look at this. At 2,200 hours, we made a whole bunch of revenue. In comparison to yesterday, it's about $2 million profit. Yesterday, it was only $286,000 profit. That puts us in a really good spot. The first thing I want to do is actually increase the number of cars per train to 4. This will double our capacity. So we are going to need to buy more vehicles. Now, unfortunately, we're still over capacity on most of our trips, and ultimately that just means we need to run more trains. And to completely resolve our issues here, I had to have 12 trains during the high demand peak period, 9 during the medium demand period midday, and during the overnight, 6. And that all comes down to the low capacity on each of these trains. But still, we're incredibly profitable at this point. In fact, look at the difference between today and yesterday. It's not even comparable. We are making so much revenue at this point. In some of these time periods, we're making 13 million per hour. That's crazy. It's such an improvement. And ultimately, what this means is that we should be able to pay off our bond in short order. So sometimes you've got to spend money to make money so you can repay money. And honestly, I think I want to do that. So I think we're going to wait until we have enough money to repay the bond before we build our next line. And I'm a little bit curious. We'll look at our station area ridership, and you can see that we've got a lot of ridership right down here at this Union Station right here of sorts. Holy cow, that's wild. Got 53,000 trips to each of these stations. So there's a lot of transferring occurring. And at this point, we do have the money to pay off our bond. So let's do that. And now, because of the amount of money that we're making per day, we could take out a $500 million bond at a lower interest rate if we wanted to. But rather than taking out a large bond, why don't we just plan out our next route, and by the time we're ready, hopefully we have enough money in the bank to build it. So for this next one, I'm thinking we are going to go diagonal this way. It's because we've got a whole bunch of origins and a whole bunch of destinations. So for this one, think I want to go with the shorter heavy rail route. And this means that we can hopefully reuse this existing station. That'll save us some money. And I think right away, I'm going to turn this thing. And this is already incredibly expensive. We're looking at $375 million. Thankfully, we're making money so fast, I'm not overly concerned. So we'll just do what's necessary in this area. And that will include going underground right here. And that boring has really improved the speed of this turn. Now my goal is going to be to try to get into this existing train corridor, but I think we want to add a station or two first. Now it should get a bit more simple because we're starting to reuse this existing right-of-way. And to be cost conscious, I think I'm going to stop it right here for the time being. Now we got to make sure that we have our crossovers. We'll add one right here. And then our other end probably wouldn't need a crossover if I didn't mind the trains crossing, but I do. So I'll add that crossover right here. We're going to need some trains to run this. So I just want to take a look at the A line. We've got 2 trains here. That's a total of 30 cars. I'm gonna buy those up front, 75 million. And I wanted to do that so I could see how much of a loan I would need if I want to take one. And bluntly, I'm gonna need all the money. Thankfully, we do have a fairly large bond. We can actually take out the $100 billion bond because we're making over 200 million in revenue per day. I'm gonna take out the larger bond because it has a lower daily interest rate. We should be able to pay this back fairly quickly, and it means that we won't be in a fairly precarious financial situation. Then we'll build our blueprints and slow things down so that we can create our route. That's looking good. I just want to make sure that we're not reusing a platform. I believe that we're okay, so we'll confirm the changes. I am going to take a look at the A route though. No, we are not okay. We're using the exact same platform there. So let's edit this route. We'll swap over to the other platform and remove this one. Now we're going to need to add trains here, and I'm going to mirror our other route. So we'll have 11-minute frequencies during the peak period, 16 during the midday, and 30 in the overnight period. And now I'm gonna watch this for a moment because I just wanna make sure that we don't have crowding. And after watching this throughout the day, it seems like we are doing all right. And that gets me really curious. Let's take a look at our station level ridership. And my goodness, 73,000 now on the heavy rail side of this. I'm also curious about our overall mode split. It's about 2%. That's not that great, but things are improving and they'll continue to improve as we have this route online. So let's build what I think is going to be the final route in our system, at least for the time being. And for this one, I think I want to go south. We're going to cross the river because you can see that there are a lot of residents down here, though there are not all that many places of employment. There are a couple. So maybe for this one, we'll try to link up with these two major job centers. I think I want to use heavy metro again. And though there's a whole bunch of transit corridors right here, I don't think that I want to use them because they're not going to be suitable for what I want to do. So instead, I see that we've got what appears to be kind of a green belt right here. We're going to go up that, find this transit corridor, and basically link through this way. So I'm going to begin down here, and I'll build this station basically at grade. Then I want to switch over to residents. I wasn't going to place a station right here, but then I noticed we have what appears to be a platform, and that was kind of an indicator there's a lot of residential right here. So I'll build another station right here, and another one right here. And now things are about to get very interesting. I'm going to elevate right here, right along this street, and our workplaces are right here, and I think we can be at grade. And that gives me a target. We need to get from 5 meters above ground right here to -2 right here. Let's add another elevated station right here. And we'll have to take things nice and slow around that corner, at least if we don't want to use lots of eminent domain. I'm going to see what it would take. $24 million. I'm going to do it for the sake of speed. And ultimately, the transit agency would be able to resell that parcel and build around it. And maybe it would be more valuable because of the station that we're adding here. So there would be a lot of really complicated discussions that would go into this. So now we need to transition to the at grade. And I want to say this looks like it could be a station. I think what I'll do is do cut and fill through here, and then we'll elevate behind these buildings. Now we need to figure out how we're going to come into our central station. And honestly, I think we have to turn and go back through this way. And this is going to get very, very, very costly if I don't make a couple of adjustments. I'll build a station that was over here, right here instead. We'll add a station right here, another one right here, and then I want to find that major employer. That's right here. It actually looks like it's where there's an existing train station. So I'm going to add this one right here as a cut and cover station, -9 meters. And then I think that we're going to loop back around and go underneath here. And then before I link all of this up, I want to figure out this river crossing because this is going to be an absolute mess. We're almost through the home stretch, so I'm just going to link these up underground for a considerable portion of this. Now, before we move on, I just want to double check, make sure that we've got our crossover. We do not. And then we'll take a look at the cost. $1.6 billion. That's almost all of our money. Wild, but we're going to do it. Now let's work out our routing. Just like our other routes, the first thing I want to do, make a connection between one end and the other. And I'm a little bit more nervous about this one because I have that weird stretch of single track. And it says no valid pathing found. Okay, so I think the issue is all right here. So I've got these single track segments coming in and the crossover isn't connected to them. Now, this is going to be a little bit problematic because we have a whole bunch of different height stuff happening here. So I think rather than trying to join into this, what I'm gonna do is build a turnaround stub. But we did all of that so that we got a crossover right here. This allows us to turn around. So we'll build those blueprints, and I don't even want to look at the cost. That was really expensive. And now we should be able to build this route. But we'll try once more, add a stop right there, and then at the very other end, now it works. And I think I want to have 12-minute frequencies or better, maybe 10 during the peak period. Midday will go, we'll say 16, and then off-peak 24. So we're gonna need 20 more train cars. That'll be 50 million. We've got that, no problem. Now at this point, I'm just gonna let things run for a little while. I wanna pay back that loan desperately, but I really wanna see how this route does in comparison to our other ones. Now I've let things run for quite a while at this point, and I just wanna see how we're doing from a financial standpoint. We have made almost $3 billion over time, which is wild. You can see that our revenues are just shooting through the roof. In fact, over the last couple of days since we had this new complete system, $340 million in operational profit per day. That is wild. The really impressive thing is we can actually pay off our entire bond right now, which you better believe I am gonna do. Now, let's talk about some lessons learned. Now, just looking at the overall ridership, I thought that Route B was going to be, I thought it was gonna have decent ridership, but I didn't think it was gonna surpass Route A. I was wrong. The airport is such a ridership magnet. I should have thought about that, and that probably should have been the heavy rail corridor, the first one. The second corridor, the light rail corridor, should have been Route A, which has our lowest ridership. Honestly, Route C probably could have been a light rail corridor as well, although that one's probably going to be extended in the future, and then the ridership should increase. But now's the moment of truth. We need to see how my routes look in comparison to the real deal. So for that, I've pulled up Google Earth and I'm looking at just the transit view, and a couple of things jump out to me right away. My goodness, there is tube everywhere. It's all over the city within close proximity to one another. Pretty interesting. There's also a whole bunch of lines right here, and what I believe is fairly close to where I put my main transit center right here. I believe this is Liverpool Street. Let's double check. Indeed, we have Liverpool Street right here. So it looks like I actually put my main transit center, even though it wasn't super obvious, right where a major transit center is. The only major difference is that there's a major east-west corridor right here that I just didn't really see. I guess we used it right here, but we didn't necessarily need to go into the station. We could have just had a stop right here instead. Now, I am curious to see where this route goes in the real world. It seems as though it is doing the same thing, though there are two lines. And none of the routes actually do what mine does. You can see that I ended up going this way because I wanted to reach this major employment center down here, which appears to be this area. It looks like it might be a mall or something of that nature. And you can see that there is a lot going on, but it's this purple line. And this line basically cuts down here. Does it actually go to the Liverpool station? It does, but it goes in the front. And this actually turns into a portion of my C line. the C line that actually angles up towards whatever this is right here, which I'm really curious to see what this is. I spent so much time avoiding this, and it looks like it was Regent's University of London, so makes sense that I wouldn't cut straight through it. Also, the Sherlock Holmes Museum, very cool. That would have been an interesting destination to be able to hit. Local knowledge would have really helped right there. But I did get fairly close right here, and there's very high ridership. Now, I am really curious. Was really cognizant of where Buckingham Palace is. I didn't want to get anywhere near it. Let's see the way it looks in the real world. Oh my goodness. There is a line that goes basically right underneath it. That is wild. So I guess I didn't have to be so nervous about going right underneath it. Now the B line going from Liverpool station out to Heathrow was the highest utilization route that we put together. So I want to see how close we are to this one. And if here's Liverpool Street Station, it looks like this yellow line and the green line are kind of doing what I'm doing, but they loop around right here. I'm very curious though. So here's the green route. It's following along, and honestly, it's doing exactly what my route does. Until we get to right here, it's still going kind of similar place to mine, and it ends right here at Richmond. Let's see if there's anything that goes out to Heathrow. Looks like it's this line, and it doesn't loop, but it does have a fair number of the same connections that I was making. One down here at what appears to be a hotel, one right here, and then another line going up this way. So it seems like the major difference is the line that I put together up here in the real world cuts down here and goes into Heathrow. Now, I think that the Piccadilly line right here is kind of doing the most similar thing to what my route is doing. So I just want to see what the ridership is like on this line. Now, granted, we're talking about a much larger line than the one that I put together, but it has 218 million rides, at least back in 2019. That's wild. That's crazy. I want to say that Madison, for our entire transit system, was 9 million last year. So puts things into perspective. That also means that this line would see about 600,000 rides per day. And considering that the extent of the real line is quite a bit longer, I feel pretty good about what we created. If I were to recreate this, I feel like we'd probably get fairly close to the real ridership. Pretty cool. So I guess what have we learned here? I think the principles of transportation planning kind of are universal. Look at origins and destinations where you have right-of-way and make targeted connections to key destinations, and you can come up with fairly reasonable transit lines, and it kind of transcends country boundaries. But also, there are things that I missed because I don't have local knowledge. Because I didn't know where key destinations were, I didn't even think about touching them. So I think if I were to do this all again, I'd have a map of London up so I could actually see where those key destinations are so that I can make sure that my transit system is hitting all of them. And also, London has a massive subway system. What we built isn't nearly as large, and if we wanted to match London, this video would probably be 3 hours long. But what did you think about this? How does my system look? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I think that we're going to leave it here. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And I want to thank you so much for your time today. There's a million things that you could have been doing. You decided to hang out with me and play some Subway Builder, and for that, I appreciate you and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.